lost, lost in the heat of it all. Girl, you know you're lost, lost in the thrill of it all. Miami, Amsterdam, Tokyo, Spain, lost.
Hey, welcome back to the video, guys. If you're new here, or subscribe if you haven't been yet. You can drop a like so you can come back to it later. This is going to be a nice one where we get the equips. I gain you the things you need to equip your life into better lifestyles. Nah, man. We doing expansions of the mind, of the body, of the soul, all that good shit. This is I think her name is Sarhasa. It starts with an S-A, with a Susaharasala, and she gives us new equipment slots, I believe. Oh my goodness, how many equipment slots do you start off with in this game? I think they start you off with like 50, 50, and then this one gets you another page, which is um what no, number another 25 or so. I don't know. I forget how many equipment slots they give you, but nevertheless, guys, that's what we're doing today in this wonderful MMO of MMOs. Dragon Quest makes you go through a couple of hoops to get expanded inventory, but I wouldn't have it any other way. As far as anything that is worth doing in life, it should take a few steps, I believe. So for this quest, basically we're gonna run around, do a bunch of stuff for her. I believe there is a mystery that we have to solve about some poisoning or storage things, and then at the end we fight a black hole from inside of a pot. So it's a pretty fun story. Follow along with me here. This is just going to be more of a guide video while I chat about other things as we usually do. The whole podcast style. So once again, if you do like what I do here, a subscribe and a like will be very appreciated, guys. What we have going on today is the creative insight for yourself. We are talking about equipping yourself with the ability of God, essentially, to create in this world. We all need it. I believe we all actually have it too, just intrinsically at birth. There was a study, I believe, that was done with like kids, to see their like creative abilities, like their creative cognitive abilities or whatever. And I don't remember exactly what the results said, but the general gist was that we start out with maximum like creative, but like our creative potential is like 90 to 100%, as far as how creative we are at kids. And then as we grow older and older through adolescence, it goes like from 50 all the way down to when you're an adult, like 3%, creative potential. So what we're going to talk about today is how to expand some of that back as an adult in life, because usually what happens is you just don't know things, so your ability to intake new information, kind of make something new with what you have is very large when you're a kid. But when you start to know things, when you start to get held in your little your wraps of time and whatnot, it gets a little annoying, and you tend to get in a rut, a thought rut. So here we go. First thing you guys want to do, as just like a task, as like a daily thing that you should just think about all the time right now, especially if you aren't this kind of person, because there are these kinds of people. I'm not gonna turn this into a gender thing, but it is mostly the females that like to do this. But I would like to challenge you. So we're talking about getting creative here. You just got to take 1 second a day to just take a photo or write down something weird that you experienced. Now, the reason why I also say is write down something weird is because a lot of times when we're guys or when we're people that kind of live in the moment, you kind of like live through it, fully embodying that weird thing or that thing that made your creative instinct alive. And then, later on, you'll sort of reflect on it. But yeah, it can be anything, guys. You're taking a walk outside, you're walking to your car, you see like a weird plant, take a photo of it. Um, or something weird happened at work, and you're like, "Huh, that was an interesting situation. This is a little creative that I could use for later, anything interesting. Because here's the thing, guys, we all think we have boring lives. And here's the thing, if you think that, then, we all do. If you think you have a boring life, then everyone else's life that you know as well, even the celebrities, are also boring. Because it is not intrinsically the things we do, the people we talk to, none of that really matters in life as far as making it interesting or not. What makes life interesting is merely our thoughts about life and about the people. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like forming your own opinion. So if you look at life as a giant courtroom, the jury decides, what is innocent or guilty, or interesting or boring. And this jury is you are the jury. So in all essence, since we all have our own little juries, nothing is inherently interesting. It just all depends on what your upbringing, your habits, your general interests, what intrigues you personally about the physical objects of life, the non-living things that everybody says don't have souls. But I feel like, that's another topic for another time. It's what we connect to those things using our mind juries. So that's why I say everything is just all boring or all interesting. There's no like left and right, because everybody's got their own opinions, and there's no two people that are going to have the exact same, outlook on the state of inherently interesting or boring things. So that's why every day you just find something. Just find something, because you're building your own palette. You're building your jury right now. With that. And a lot of people don't realize, this is something with music taste too. A lot of people don't realize what makes them tick. So it's very hard for them to connect with people because they don't know how to connect with themselves, or they haven't taken the time to connect with themselves. But it really just takes time. And for extroverts, this can be pretty hard to go inward, because that's kind of what you use people for in general. You use people, as sort of like a blanket, a rug to cover up what you don't want to see about yourself. So which is why, I mean, like, I'm not going to say a lot of extroverts are unenlightened, but it's very easy to go to the unenlightened path with being an introvert, because you have to look at yourself a lot when you're alone. Or you could just, drown yourself in video games like me. But anyways, the general gist of this is we have to understand our palette and understand ourselves creatively to understand not only what we find interesting, but why we find it interesting. So, and I'll go into this as well in our next point, to find the things you find interesting, to find your sort of anchor point. We have to artificially create the state of discovery, So, how you do this is you basically put yourself in an uncomfortable position. You go out of character intentionally to discover something either good or bad about your creative instinct, about your creative state of discovery, because you're never going to find out anything just going into the same ruts, doing the same thing every day. So, yeah, artificially create it. You try something new, and a lot of people don't take notes of their emotions, feelings, concerns, and worries before and after the events. So yeah, try something new. If you've never hung out with this friend, hang out with them. You're usually not a party goer, go to the party. You usually never go to the park, go to the park. Something like that. It can be small or big. It can be like even going to a new restaurant or something. And then just take note, take stock. If you're nervous about it, take note of the nervousness. Why am I nervous? Am I nervous because, I don't know what I'm going to order from this place? Am I nervous because I'm worried that I'm going to see someone that I know at this park? Take note of that. Take note of the whys. And then The really vital part is the afterward, you know, the reflection, the future, because of course you can be in the moment, taking your pictures, doing your thing, but the reflection afterwards is where you think about, you know, like creatively, what could I have done to make this better? You know, what could I have done to, you know, perhaps lead me on to something else, you know, to lead me on to a different activity. What different paths could I have taken here? You know, you could think of like something different on the menu if you're going to a new food place. Like, what if I ordered this or whatever? I don't know. Maybe I'm hungry this morning. I keep talking about food. I keep talking about breakfast. Get some more coffee. But yes, the creative position is obviously made by doing new things. I mean, when you're trying to become a creative as a job or as a career path, of course you have to be consistent in it. But you have to be consistent in your discovery, consistent in, you know, having no real, I don't want to say objective, but no real stakes on the results. Like you don't really care what comes of it. You're just trying new things. And a lot of people get trapped up in this trying new things part because they think everything has to have some amazing, awesome result that you have to show to all of your friends, you know? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, some of these podcast episodes are probably trash, and I don't need to show them all to everybody. But I do want to, you know, just display the fact that I am, you know, brag a little bit, be a little braggadocious about the fact that I am completing this entire game. Solo New Game Plus. So, you know, it's like that. You don't have to have everything completely perfect. And I struggled with perfectionism a little bit. I feel like it was perfectionism combined with a little bit of self-loathing, a little bit of procrastination as well. Um, and that just led me to not only not finish things, but you know, just not start things as well. So this is just kind of aiding me in that. I don't know, I think uploading just gives you sort of a stake to it, and I like that people are watching. We have over 30 subscribers. Let's go. Very excited about the future because like I once again I started with basically zero, basically from the bottom. I know there were some people that subscribed back in the day, about 10 years ago when I started this in high school, but it has been a dead channel for a while, so I'm glad people are tuning into the Dragon Quest. I'm hoping to show this amazing game to as many people as possible. Uh, because even though you're not Japanese, I still feel like there are ways for Americans to enjoy this game. For sure, for sure. It's a very enjoyable experience. But enough about that. We're gonna get back to the creative shit. I got on a crazy tangent, man. I got on a crazy tangent. I'm sorry. Um, Basically, the gist of that last little section is when life becomes predictable, creativity leaves. So you have to be unpredictable. I'm not saying you got to do something crazy every day, but you know, build a routine, and then once you build it, you know how to freestyle off of it. And don't be afraid to freestyle. I know as creatives, you tend to be like, I don't want to do anything with any other weird stuff. At least for me, it's like I want to be creative, but also like, man, being in the room under the covers is nice. But yeah, just do something unpredictable every day. Just go out there. Just say fuck it. If you really want this, you really want this, you gotta go and do it. Another thing that is a mistake as a creative to get more creative insights going in here, and we have completed the first quest. We're gonna move on to the second one to get our equipment expanded even more. Yeah, it does go. Okay, so we start out with 50 and then it goes to 75. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Anyways, um, another thing, another trap that you can get caught in is the YouTube loop. You know, you get caught watching a bunch of YouTube videos that are supposed to teach you things, like this one supposedly. I ain't teaching shit, bitch. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, Inspiration without action is useless, guys. We can't hoard ideas. I say every time you learn something, and this has been easy for me with YouTube now, you know, that I actually make the videos. I just take notes. I just take notes, rewatch them sometimes, um, and then I'll go back through and see what I can really use, or see what I can delve out of it, or apply to the day. That's why I like to shave off YouTube videos. Take a pause between them and really absorb the information whenever it's a informative one. Now, if it's a funny one, we're just telling stories, then use that for that. But don't mistake consumption for creation, and don't mistake conversation for creation. A lot of people creatively will love to talk about their songs or talk about their book or whatever, and then suddenly I had this huge conversation about my book today, about with this one person that I was talking to randomly, and then I come home and I'm in the bed and it's 11 p.m. and I haven't worked on my book at all today. And you know what that feeling is? It's the mistaking of conversation for creation. Guys, this is why I say, of course, if they're close friends, you can talk about it sometimes, but usually just keep the shit to yourself. Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. And you know when they will care? When there are results from everyone else caring. But you are right there in their life. You realize that the art is an extension of your soul, and they're staring right at your soul. Why do they need you to explain it? I have it right in front of me, and you're gonna give me some cliff notes on your soul when I'm looking at it. Like, that's like someone being like, so this is an apple. Will you have the apple in your hand? This is an apple. The apple, it contains this much sugar and this much natural. No, bro. I got the apple right here. Leave me the fuck alone. Um, so yeah, guys, kind of just do it. Action's gonna come first, and then you're gonna get the muse. Then you're gonna get the people and the fans and all this stuff. And I know it's very sad to think about, but honestly, guys, your biggest fan is gonna be someone who has no idea who you are, who has never had a conversation with you, who may not even know what your face looks like, may not even be in the same country as you. And I swear, this will be your biggest fan. They will talk about you nonstop to all their friends, or maybe they won't. Maybe they have no friends, but whatever. They're the craziest fan for you, and you will probably never see them in your life, for most of us. And for me, that's a very comforting feeling. For some people, that may be a little, maybe a little angry feeling, maybe a little sad. Most likely, you feel a little sad for that. But I feel like this is best because usually when you meet your heroes, we hear this all the time. It's never good. It's never good. And for me, I know I am no saint. Most people can admit that in their lives, that they've done some bad things and that they're not perfect. And to see someone idolize you like that, it never feels good. I've had it before in real life. In real life, people, at my feet, throbbing. I don't like that word. Frothing at the mouth. There we go. That's a little bit better. It's not though. And it's just not attractive. I don't know anyone who really like with their whole heart and chest would love that adoring affection, I mean, it's nice for a little bit, but all the time, people keeping that energy, it just feels weird. It just feels weird. You don't want that rabid fan energy on you in a long-term relationship, I feel. Um but it's weird because there's really no middle ground, because if someone has like a neutral feeling with you and they're just like, yeah, I just kind of like you, but you're not that fucking amazing, then guess what's gonna happen there? They're gonna be like, well, nah, you're good now. I've had my fill. So this is why I don't think long term's for me. But we are losing the plot, for sure. We're talking about creative shit, not about love, but creativity does go into love, because I love to be creative. Hey, okay, so here we go. Back into the creativity. What we need to do is stop chasing the instant gratification, like, consuming, talking about it, getting the instant validation for what we do, and start seeking the delayed gratification. So stop chasing the dopamine and start chasing the serotonin. Things like working out, that gives you those same, good fueled chemicals. But, now you're working out your craft. You're working out your creative muscle. Mmm! Which is good. Which is good, but you have to realize and really, really look into yourself to realize what you're honing in on. Because it's very easy to delude yourself into thinking that you're actually chasing dopamine or that you're actually chasing serotonin when you're just chasing the dopamine. For example, if you find yourself posting every day and then sending it to other people for the instant validation, the instant, here I go, I'm sending it to like 8,000 other people that don't really care, possibly, and then you bother your friends and you're like, hey guys, comment on this post that I just posted. Or worse, you don't even post daily and you do that. You post like maybe once a month and it's not consistent at the same time. And, it's a video that you maybe didn't even work that hard on, and you just have it in your routine, like this is the regular video. You have to realize what you're doing may seem like it's a serotonin thing because it's just so baked into your psyche, but you're really doing it for the instant gratification of the moment. And I especially realized this because this is me talking shit about myself. I especially realized this when I didn't look at it for like months after I posted. And now it's like, okay, it's not bad to not look at your content. And that's not terrible, right? But what is bad is to send it to other people that are actually in your life. You know what I'm saying? When you didn't review it, and then they'll find mistakes, and you're like, oh well, and then they'll just ignore them, give you like little pats on the head, and a good noodle sticker, and just give you that gratification. You have to realize at that point it may build serotonin, but what you're chasing is the dopamine. Like, that's why you're doing it. You're not doing it for the delayed gratification down the road. You're doing it for the right now. It doesn't matter if a delayed gratification is going to come or not. You got your fill of that dopamine. That first spike hit when you posted the video, and then everybody did the comments, and then now you're done. So you have to think down the bigger picture. And I think doing this will create a storyline with your art. I feel like every artist needs to do this. That's truly what art is. It's a storytelling art form. Art is an art. Art is a storytelling art form. I'm sorry about the walrus noises. Or is that a seal? I don't know my animals. I need to go back to SeaWorld. But yeah, your story, your tale, everyone has a story. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, everyone's story is interesting, or you could be one of the other people and believe everyone's story is boring, but everyone has one. Everyone has one. There's no one that just popped up as a 25-year-old and said, "Whoa, I'm here. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here, and I have a job, and I'm in an apartment, and I'm living with It's nobody pops out the womb like that." So figure out how you want to tell your story, what way you want to tell your story. What things led you to get here. What successes led you to be the person that you are today. Set it up in an interesting way, and don't just throw things at the wall. That's the problem I see so many artists doing. Like, of course, you just have to make shit every day, but you don't have to, pollute the airwaves with it, essentially. I think that can be a very hard thing to stick by, though, because I feel like half the fun of art is showing it to people. Yeah. Which is very sad that the internet has made us all into horrible gooners that we just have to show everything. Like everything. Like imagine back in the day, guys, they couldn't like practice a song and then send it to every tribesman. They had to practice the song, probably in private, and then maybe they'll play it in front of everyone one or two times. But yeah, usually it would just be like one or two people, and then they'd be like, "Oh, you're the singer or the dancer. We'll listen to you here this one time," and then it was like a sacred thing that you could share with someone, like an event. But now through the internet, we feel that every time we vibe with ourselves in our room and just practice, like the world has to know. The internet has to be in on it, you know? That's just not the case, man. That's just not the case, man. There's a lot of value in just holding the music. You know, people don't want to be like Kendrick, and I don't understand why. I really don't. Maybe it's because I'm really done with the world, as you can clearly tell. Like, when someone plays this much of an MMO that looks like it was made in PBS, you can tell he don't want to be here. For real. For real. For real. I mean, we're not even playing this shit in America. That's how much I do not care about Western civilization, or most civilizations. Let's not act like the world is a happy-go-lucky place here with Ukraine and Russia and Serbia going crazy, Middle East and Iran, and like the world is kind of insane right now. To be honest, I'm kind of done with it. Um, but if you just hold in yourself and focus on making the small positive impacts, every step along the journey, I feel like we can truly make something that's worth it. We just have to actually work on it. People don't see this work, these hours, as actually building something. Sometimes people really separate their 1 hour chunks of being in the studio, or writing a poem, or painting an art, or going in Photoshop and making something in Canva. People really separate these things, but in reality, they're all kind of connected. And I'm not even talking about the individual like tasks, can connect to create one full story. I'm talking like the individual pieces of that one task. So, like I made, this one art piece, and I made this one art piece, and I made this one art piece. But you have to think of the storyline of how it all connects together when you post it. When you share it. It has to be an event. There's an art to the rollout. There's a creative way to show things creatively. And that art will slowly and slowly get more and more of a commodity as time goes on. So if you learn how to do this, you're going to rise above the cream of the crop in like 90% of these artists nowadays. I assure you. It's just the way the life goes, because like I said, guys, it's very easy just to be a mindless gooner. Like I make a song a day and then post it. That's so easy. That's so easy. Way too simple for the technology that we have nowadays. So everybody's going to be doing that. If you want to rise above the crop, you want to really gain this creative genius level, it just has to be some thought. And a lot of people are very afraid that my blow up has to happen now. I'm like, no, you have to take a step to find what can, propel you forward in your unique story. A lot of people haven't even taken a step back to think about their story yet. And they're over here making song after song, drawing picture after picture. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We have to create the art to grow further, right? You have to stop the consumption and respond with action when you're moved, right? Of course. But to start calling ourselves an artist as an adult, we have to make conscious decisions. You can call yourself an artist as a kid as long as you create, but an artist as an adult, like we have too much understanding. You know too much now. There's no excuse to just randomly make stuff. We have to make stuff and connect it. Connect the puzzle pieces together. You gotta play Tetris. Break you down on the block, we play in Tetris. So, my last little point here, when I leave you on this third equipment quest, is to confirm your identity. This is kind of the same way you use confidence. And basically, confirming your identity is mastering your self talk or your self dialogue, your inner dialogue, and truly calling yourself an artist. Because the truth about life, which is very scary, is that your brain follows your identity. So what you think is what you are. If you think I'm a loser, I'm a failure, I'll never get anywhere in life, life sucks, the world is terrible, we're all gonna kill each other eventually, then yeah, that's what's gonna happen essentially. But if you think I am the master artist, I am a creative, I am the creator, I have the ability to make a positive influence on the world, and I will use that ability to become the greatest artist of my potential. And if not change the world, inspire the brain that will change the world into something better. You know, and I'm not going to attach any results to that. Like, I want to make $1 million through my art. Or I want to, because honestly, I'm not really attached to things like that. Like, I just want enough money to live, kind of, I don't want to live above my means. I just want shelter. I'm cool with, all the clothes and video games I got, I'll probably buy a new game next year or something, but, I'm kind of cool with this one. Been playing Tribe 9 too. It's the free-to-play gacha game. But, there's just really not much I want. At least right now. I'm not dying for things. Which is good, which makes me very detached from the results. I just kind of want to create. I just kind of want to learn. I just kind of want to discover. A lot of people aren't hungry for knowledge as I am, and that is very scary to me. That's what separates me from a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends, so-called friends, I don't hang out with anymore. Because when you have a passion for knowledge and creativity, it will naturally separate you from the group. I'm just going to be honest with you. The things that just normally come out of my mouth without even thinking, people give me the craziest looks for saying what I say. So, a lot of times I just don't talk. I just don't. If people are off put by your presence and you don't care to change that, it's fine. It's fine. We have to realize life is very long. We don't have to get attached to everyone who is in our immediate circle at the moment. Because that's the one thing that's bound to change. It's the people around you. They're bound to change. Either they'll change and move, they'll change to different people, you'll change to a different person. You're going to grow apart. You're going to grow apart. Everyone says, girls will come and go. Girlfriends, boyfriends, they'll come and go, but friends are forever. Friends are not forever. Friends are for as long as the moment resides, And of course, there are some people that are soulmates that just connect to your soul that you feel like, you could drop it at any time and pick it back up and it'd be exactly where it is, And that's a beautiful thing. But I would stretch to call that a real friend. Because a real friend to me, personally, is someone that I can hang out with, talk with, converse with. I'd say, if not daily, I'd say weekly. Just that's what a friend is to me. And maybe I'm too possessive of the title friend. But someone like that, who is, I don't want to say at my level like I'm some kind of crazy genius, but what's scary about today's time is, guys, that I am so dumb. I'm so surface level with this bullshit that I'm learning. I'm just some guy that's taking notes and reading books and, fucking watching YouTube videos. But yeah, even me, an idiot like me, is just, I don't know, sort of just different, on a different plane of existence, mind-wise, I've noticed. And it really hurts a lot to talk to people who either don't understand what you're saying or don't want to hear what you're saying because it's too right, or because it's too orderly, or because it's too truthful. Whatever thoughts they have on it. You know, I'm not in their minds, but that's the vibe I give. It's the vibe I take. And it just don't feel good, you know. Just leads you to just not want to interact, not want to talk, you know. Like why would I talk when every time I say something, you're just gonna come back and be like, ah, okay, sure, guy, or give me a weird look and be like, okay, well, right. Like I don't like introducing these weird topics when somebody's like, oh man, this fucking day is terrible, and I'm like, well, you know, people have died and people have lived today, and you can think which side of the plane of existence you're on, but it's very easy to delve into suffering and not think about anything we can be grateful for today. It's really easy, really easy. And at least externally, I try to lead people in a way that leads them to lead someone else in a way that betters themselves. Because I realize that that first step into, you know, immediately making the person right in front of you feel better, it's hard for me. Unless I just make a stupid dad joke, which I usually just delve into, you know, just make a stupid dad joke and then move on. But every now and then it kind of gets to me. It kind of gets to me because in my identity, I am the creative genius who is here to make the positive impact, you know, teach, enlighten, secure. But outwardly, um, it can be hard to keep up. It can be hard to keep up, especially when your environment doesn't, you know, you are who you hang around. So nobody around me really embodies that, and it's a little sad. I remember back in a couple of the places I used to live at, people were very interesting, you know, very interesting with their mirroring techniques. You know, you think some people are just like you, and then the frame slips a little bit. But now I don't even get anybody that's maybe I'm just becoming better at noticing when people are disingenuous with their masking tactics. But you know, there's nobody here that even kind of tries to go that far with me and, you know, portray that area that I can see and be this creative genius too. So I just kind of have to be alone. I kind of have to be alone to protect my frame and grow. Because if I want to actually grow into this thing, you know, I have to only be around people that also want to grow into this thing. And right now, I just don't find any. Don't find any. But that's how identity is built, guys. It's built through repetition. You have to wake up every day, not only embody it in the mind, but in the soul and the body. Embody the body. You have to do things that make you the master creative. You have to activate your soul and your mind to believe you are the master creative. Um, you have to be the master creative, and yeah, never let anyone stop you or stop your light from shining, guys. Remember, we all have a story to tell. I'm very serious about that. I'm very serious, and I'm very serious that everyone can be a creative. The reason why we're not is these extroverted instincts. You are around everyone around you, and not many people want to think like this. It's scary. It can bring you to a lot of realizations about yourself that you didn't want to know. But if you want to go far, it's where you got to go. It's the path you got to walk. I am not afraid. I've been afraid all my life. I wouldn't say I'm not afraid now. I'd say I'm still kind of afraid now, but I'm not afraid of the results anymore. I think that was my real main fear is that just looking into the future and having all those problems with being someone who makes entertainment. I was like, nah. But you see, now that I see all the crash outs happening, Hollywood's getting turned on its head, I'm like, maybe I have a chance. Maybe I have a chance. But who knows, guys? All I gotta do is put in the work. Just be consistent. I hope everybody has a good whatever the fuck day I hope this on. Enjoy your weekend, weekday, weeknight. We gonna keep it popping, rocking, and locking. Peace out, guys. I'll see you next time.